Hello there, my Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. How are you today? I am your reader for the moment. If you're new to the channel, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, 21 years in business. Professional witch, professional intuitive, means I get paid for it. And welcome to my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, sharing, all of that. My numbers are growing slowly but surely, but we're getting there. So thank you so much. And if you find that this reading, or any of my other readings are helpful, my new visitors, please do subscribe. I'm putting out new content all the time because this is what I love doing. I like being a YouTuber. It's great fun. And this is what I do best. I'm a spiritual teacher and I've been reading cards since I'm 12 years old. I'm currently 51, purple hair and all. Can't really tell in this lighting. Thank you, Overtone. It's my pleasure to be here. Now, I do have some links that you might want to check out if you are new to my channel down in the description box. One that I did called Clarifying Twin Flame Soulmates and True Lovers. I've got a couple of clarifying vids. I actually now have a playlist of the things I clarify about how I read. That my take on twin flames is a little bit different than what you see out there. As well as there is a video by KAHN called Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined, which was so helpful for me. Is just to put that as a foundation, that twin flame, how I'm reading it, in my experience, a twin flame is a pre-incarnational soul contract that you make with other souls. You have more than one. To help you learn how to heal and love and take care of yourself. Twin flame relationships, twin flame contracts are turbulent, tumultuous, transformative twin flame. And what do they burn? They're the fires of transformation that burn the blocks to love's presence within you, which is your divine inheritance, right? Who you really are. You are love. So all of my readings, more or less, are about the path of true love, in which you have many twin flame relationships, not just romantic, sexual, family members. My father and I were a twin flame contract, God bless and rest his soul, that we could never really give the other one what they really wanted. He wanted a heterosexual, normal child. Got that with my brother Matthew. I'm Mark. Yes, we were Catholic. I say work because I'm a witch. Might think my brother's still Catholic. I don't know. We don't talk about that stuff at dinner. But soulmates are the satisfying relationships. So the last larger series that I did, that was not a quickie, was Satisfying Soulmates. So if you want to find out about your soulmate relationships, go watch those. These are about the tricky, transformative, turbulent, tumultuous twin flame relationships that teach you how to love yourself. Because by contract, they cannot give you what you want, but they do serve up what you need. And if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. So we are ready to dive in. The decks have already been blessed for you Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. I'm using 6 different decks on this. I think you'll like the pattern. I like this spread a lot. I'll be using this with my clients going forward. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, the info is in the box below as well. Cool, cool. So let's dive in. Here we go. We're going to pick 3 Caroline Myss archetype cards. One for the Divine Feminine. Yes, we're doing Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine for these reads, just as a way of identifying which is which. You get to choose, right? You feel out which one you are. We're not talking about bodily gender here. We're talking about energetic dynamic. And if I said Divine Yin and Divine Yang, I don't think people would get it. Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine seems to be the current wording for that, the linguistic way of saying that in the colloquial divinatory language of YouTube. So we're rolling with it. So the first will be for the Divine Feminine, the second for the Divine Masculine, and the third for the twin flame relationship. In other words, both of them together. So here we go. My pantheons, please, 1 card in clarity to represent the Divine Feminine in this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. And I'm saying and beyond because to put these in a 30 to 31 day context doesn't make sense. They all blend month to month, right? Oh, okay. So for the Divine Feminine, we've got the Judge. And that's not just about being judgy, right? That's actually part of the wisdom family of archetypes. We'll read that one once all 3 are out because there's writing on the cards about the light and the shadow. Archetypes in and of themselves are neutral. It's our job to alchemize the lead of the shadow into the gold of the light. And that's really the benefit of twin flame relationships. They are the crucible through which the fires of transformation are applied to burn off the 3 extra atoms from lead to make them gold. Just saying. So, same thing, my pantheons. 1 card in clarity for the divine masculine in this Gemini collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Ooh, the eternal child, also known as Peter Pan. The eternal child, I won't grow up. I don't want to wear a tie or a serious expression. In the middle of July, I never fucking wear ties. Unless I have to. And then I have funky cool ones. My pantheon, please. 3rd card in clarity here. For the overall, the blending of this divine masculine, divine feminine in this Gemini collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Ooh, the Knight. Now the Aries, I believe, got the Knight in the feminine position. 1st card down of this series. Just saying. So if you got any kind of Aries in your chart, you might want to go have a look-see-duck-see. All right. So we've got the Judge, and an eternal child in a Knight relationship. Let's see what that's about, shall we? Don't worry, we've got 20 cards going down in total. We will get clarity on this. The light attribute and the shadow attribute of the Judge archetype. Light attribute, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power, right? Isn't that lovely when someone is like a healthy, balanced judge? That's why it's like, no, this feels a little out of balance. I paid last time. No, let's be fair about this. I love you and I care about, you know, that's lovely. That's lovely for someone who really seeks. It's very Libra in a way, right? Let's get this like balance. But even with Gemini, like to get those the pro versus con voices in your own head balanced. If you, and again, you could be the divine masculine or the divine feminine watching this. The shadow attribute, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. So it's about abuse of power, but abuse in terms of rules, in terms of protocols, in terms of regulations, right? Misusing your power. In other words, like putting your thumb on the scale. So, you know, don't be too shook by the shadow. The shadows are supposed to be toxic. Lead is toxic. Get it in your system. It's not good. It's your job to alchemize it into gold, and we're all on that path. So don't take any of this too personally, right? We all have that. But that in this particular relationship, and I am getting just an intuitive hit on there, that the divine feminine is sort of weighing things out, sort of judging it. But what will win out, the voice of the higher self or the voice of the ego? Can the voice of the ego be healed with the voice of the higher self is really how we bring things into balance, but we'll see what pops up in the rest of the reading. Shall we? For the divine masculine, we've got the eternal child, light attribute, determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit. I feel naked suddenly. Ability to see things with fresh eyes, right? Like that's great. You know, when that child feels safe, all of the child archetypes are about safety and innocence, right? If they feel safe, they can walk into any brand new situation, have no idea, total humility, and just see it with fresh eyes, right? If they don't feel safe, we usually are dealing with the shadow. Inability to grow up and be responsible. Extreme dependency on others for physical security, right? So the child doesn't want to grow up, right? Doesn't want to get a job. If it does, it kind of does it begrudgingly. It's not great, but you know, the thing about archetypes, it's not just about how we were raised. It's about a soul power that we came to refine in this life. So the Peter Pan thing, totally worth it in terms of, you know, without naivete, but with wisdom, to walk into a situation with open, fresh eyes, and yet at the same time keep an eye on, am I being really overly dependent, right? Extreme dependency on others. And that can come down to, what do you think? What do you think? But what do you think? But what do you think? So for the masculine energy, that is tricky, 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 but not, you know, archetypes are not good or bad. They are a balance. Where are you on that scale? Sometimes to achieve a goal, to reach a certain level of consciousness and awareness of ourselves and of our path, we have to be at like 51% gold to 49% lead, right? Just got to tip the scales a little bit. But if you're at 25% gold, 75% lead, you could see that's going to be a bit of a harder road. Not that it necessarily takes longer, but the amount of work that needs to be done. And by the way, the same for the judge, right? Now, here's what immediately, having the Knight archetype representing the twin flame relationship itself, sorry, something popped up on my screen, go away. What we have here, the Knight, right? The Knight is a romantic character anyway, so already that's an indication. I'm not going to say definitely that this is a romantic twin flame situation, but here I'll read it to you in the light attribute. Loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. So particularly with the judge, right? We call a judge your honor, right? A judge and a child, that might be tricky, but if this can be done honorably, right? If this twin flame relationship can be mitigated, I'm really using legal words, I was raised by a lawyer, so, you know, can be balanced out, the clauses can be defined, the boundaries defined, with a love of honor and honoring of each other, then you have a loyal romance with chivalry, right? Lots of opening of doors and yes and please and thank you, but the code of chivalry has to do with your honor code as well, right? So double dose honor here. Now the shadow attribute, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. So I am getting definitely the romantic aspect of it here, but understand a knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, serves a ruler or a principle, that they don't necessarily act on their own accord, that there is something above them from whence they take their orders, right, their quests. Obviously Lancelot and Arthur, right? Arthur was the king, Lancelot was his main knight. Knight. The dark knight, I am the darkness, I am the night, I am Batman, right? Well, he was sort of his own ruler there, but definitely ruled by a destructive principle. Superhero vigilante that he is, will always be. Yeah, I'm DC Comics, I love my Marvel as well, but I'm a Wonder Woman kind of guy at heart. Don't be shocked. Okay, so there is our foundation, our main energies. We've got the divine feminine, the divine masculine, the relationship itself. Now let's have some fun. We are going to use the Daughters of the Moon Tarot to pull 5 tarot cards for the divine feminine. It's the element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. What the divine feminine wants, what she has, to help her get what she wants, what she thinks, what she feels, and a spirit overview, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. So please, my gods, 5 cards in clarity, top of the deck, element spread for the divine feminine in this Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Please, top 5 cards, element spread, Gemini collective, divine feminine, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, please. Top 5 cards. Got it. Consolidate, then cut. Maiden, good clean cut. Mother, crone. Maiden, mother, crone. On the deck you go. And here we go. So the divine feminine, what does she want in and from this twin flame relationship? Well, deception. Now, who wants deception unless she wants to deceive? Now, with that judge in its shadow, that's very possible, right? Shadow behavior by itself indicates deception. Please try to say. But then we have here this thing of, it looks like the 2 of Swords, but it is the 4 of Swords. So what are we looking at there? We're looking at this thing of something being hidden, perhaps even from the self. Sorry about that, Gemini. Had a little glitch. Wanted to make sure that the camera was still working. All as well. We're going to pick up right where we left off. You just did fire what they want. We're going to clarify this big time with the other cards down, perhaps wanting to know what the deception is, if there is a deception. And, you know, deception just comes along with twin flame relationships in terms of people withholding how they really feel sometimes, right? But that can be within the self as well. So there's a desire either to deceive the self, which isn't too much fun, right? Like, no, 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 it's not twin flame, it's not twin flame, it's not twin flame, right? Or that wants to know, hey, what's going on? Am I being deceived here? So what does she have? What does the divine feminine have here? Is the Taurus card her own life values? Now, yes, this can certainly indicate another person. Court cards sometimes do, depending on the reading. But I'm not really getting this. Like, second house, life values, lifelong solid bedrock kind of values, right? Not home, house, right? Home is the sign of Cancer, right? Your cars, right? Your vehicles, your health, your integrity, your honor, and well, in your honor, right? When we call the judge your honor. So, you know, that's what she has, your values. So to be driven like a bull charging, or to stand still and not move in terms of a life value, something long held, is what the divine feminine has here. So really, if you're the divine feminine, look to what do you hold as your life values. You are the Mother of Pentacles, the great corn mother. That's what you have. Also that ability to nurture, right? If that's one of your life values, to nurture. You know, I deal usually with women. Granted, the majority of my clientele are female, although I have quite a number of males, gay, straight, and bi, that come to me. I'm so open to whatever anybody is. I really ultimately don't care. Like, we're all souls anyway. But so often people find themselves in a relationship where they're the parent, and the lover, the other, however you want to call it, ends up being like a child rather than a spouse, rather than a partner. So with that strong thing there of life values, like unconditional love, I would love them unconditionally, that's my life value. But maybe with blinders on, not just turning a blind eye, that might be the case of some behavior. But to want that, then that's about, well, I really, there's a stronger, I should say, a more dominant vibration here in the collective, particularly Gemini, saying, no, I want to know. I want to know what's going on here. Because my value, like, I'll speak for myself, honesty, not just truth, honesty, right? Truth without compassion is brutality. So I want to know, I want to communicate honestly, and I would love for people to communicate honestly, which means they will speak the truth with compassion. So that's an example, right? Right there. This feels really, I won't say intense, but that sort of like not knowing might be making the divine feminine here a little skitsy, right? A little like, I don't know. And if this is the Gemini, then really being of two minds about it. Oh, it's the truth. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. That can be crazy making. To really ground what you have is, well, what are my values? What is it that I value? What is it that I honor? What is it long term, right? So let's have a look at how the divine feminine in this Gemini twin flame relationship thinks. What's the element of air? Jealousy. Now, this is the Seven of Cups. Used to seeing Seven of Cups as castles in the air, and I get it, but this is about emotional turbulence in this deck. That jealousy is really about, well, when the fuck is it my turn, right? Really, if you boil down to jealousy, when you're jealous about different, to me, than envy. Envy is actually the name of the deadly sin of the third eye, right? Envy, I'm not going to say it's a whole different category, but it's a whole different intensity. Where emotional jealousy that comes and goes, this is only a minor arcana card, granted a 7, along in the cycle. If you really feel it, it's this child inside of us. It's like, well, how come they got that? Where the fuck is mine? You know, I've put in my hours. I've put in my time. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Fuck them. I hate them, right? That's jealousy. Now, if this is not specifically about jealousy, then it is about the emotional upset of not getting what you want. And hence, perhaps, that 4 of Blades, that card of deception, either deceiving oneself mentally about what's going on, about getting what, oh, I'm going to get what I want, I'm going to get what I want, I'm going to get what I want, when you know pure well that you won't, or that thing really, what the fuck is going on here? I want to know, right? What the fuck? That's the language coming in. Yes, I curse like a sailor. It's genetic. How does this divine feminine feel? Because the intuitive emotional part of this, particularly with water in the air, it's a great way to read this 5-card spread. You can really bounce around when an element is not in its normal elemental position, I guess you would say. You can really bounce around and make all sorts of different connections here. So considering that we have air and fire, right, that card of deception, we've got earth in earth, the Taurus in the earth position, what you have. We have water in air. Now let's look at the water. There's some indication being shown there. Major Arcana card, Wheel of Fortune, Spider Woman. So the feeling here for this divine feminine is that this is a matter of time, that sooner or later she's going to find out what's going on. She is going to see the truth, and even if she's trying to avoid it, it will come full circle. This is a matter of timing. Now also this card for me very much talks about fate and destiny. Fate is what we are handed, but we can't change. Your DNA, your eye color, you can't change your eye color. You can get color contact lenses, but you can't, unless you pop an eye out and pop an eye in, you're not changing your eye color. But what do you see with them, right? What do you do with your DNA? What do you do with your astrology? That's a perfect example of fate. Your natal chart is your fate. What you do with it when you take the hero's journey is your destiny. So all of these threads are interconnected. Everything is helping everything. You pull one thread, the whole thing moves. So the Spider Woman there, I mean, how the universe was created, if you really want to go back into the Native American creation mythos, this is about the web of life and the interconnectivity of it all. So, be careful if you're the divine feminine here, not to not feel those feelings, but to deal with them in a way where these blinders are removed. Now, I have this spell that I do, a prayer spell, call it what you want. Break chains of illusion and set all things to right. Reveal what has been hidden and bring true love to light. Now, true love meaning the divine love, the love of myself, the love for all of humanity, the love that we truly are. So in terms of walking a path of fate, trying to achieve destiny, essentially the hero's journey, the path of true love is the hero's journey, seen through your relationships, your spiritual growth and evolution. Pretty much all my readings are true love, path of true love based. Because it affects all aspects of your life. And again, not just romantic sexual, this one feels romantic sexual. At least if it's not sexual yet, then the romantic part of it with that jealousy there, that there's some real turbulence going on inside the divine feminine, but in the mind, right? That jealousy really is a thing of the third eye, but of course can trigger those emotions of when the fuck do I get mine, right? And impatience. Tricky. So let's get that spirit card down, the overview for the divine feminine. We've got the volcano, Pele. 5 of Flames, the volcano. So things are about to blow. Things are about to blow, right? 5 of Flames. 5 of Flames, changing fire, transformative fire, but something coming from the inside out. Now, as I said before, if this has not expressed itself sexually, this is a good card for that because it's that expression of passion and fire. Can also be creativity, but also can be volatility, can be anger, can be rage, can be an explosion of will and desire and passion. Also remember, crimes of passion are usually about that. So that's why I'm feeling be careful here, either with the divine feminine or if you are the divine feminine, however you choose to identify yourself here, that you might be under some illusions that you are cherishing, right? What is a cherished illusion? One that doesn't necessarily make you feel good or feel comfort, but is better than facing the emotion, right? It's a belief. It's something that we think. It's an element of air. So I thought I got this so strong. Ground yourself in your values. Well, what is the most important to me? What is it that I value above all else? Now, there might be more than one thing there. Like I value my mom and my stepfather, Hera and Zeus as I call them. I value my cats. I value my home. But my life values are about enlightenment. Like that's what I mean, as soon as I heard that word enlightenment as a kid, I didn't even know what it meant. I just knew I wanted some, right? Like I value my spiritual path sort of above everything else. It's really true for me. Look at me. Look what I do for a living, right? Obviously, this is a path where I don't care if my options are removed, then it's the gods removing my options and they're focusing me, right? That's a level of faith. So tricky there. We're going to come back to that. We're going to be clarifying that. Let's get the divine masculine here and see if there's any mirroring, and we're going to do that with a whole different deck. the Mythic Tarot, Juliet Sharman Burke. I don't remember the name of the other artist. I apologize. I have the book back there on bookshelf. So let's do this same thing, same 5-card element spread. My gods, please, 5 cards in clarity, the element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, for the divine masculine in this Gemini twin flame relationship, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, for the month of October 2019 and beyond. Please, top 5 cards, element spread, divine masculine, Gemini twin flame, contract, October 2019, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, cut in 3, maiden, mother, crone, maiden, mother, crone. They don't pick up off the table as well. Yeah, bottom of the deck, King of Wands, we'll see. All right. So no reversal cards here. I did enough reversals in that those soulmate reads. I'm taking a break from reversals. So divine masculine. What does the divine masculine want? Knight of Cups, the romantic knight, the Piscean knight, right? Little fishy jumping in the water. You know, not necessarily galloping in, but a walk, right? The 4 stages of speed. You've got the Gemini, it's that full gallop, right? The Sagittarius, which is at a canter, the Pisces, which is at the trot, and the Virgo, which is standing still, slow as molasses in January, as my grandmother used to say. The mutable signs. So considering you are mutable air, what you want here is that romantic approach, but at a walk, not a run, right? I can feel that, the romantic quest, that you really want that romantic experience. You want to act on it. You want to follow your intuition. You want to kind of feel this one out for sure, at least in your life in terms of relationships in general. Let's have a look at then what is the Earth, the card for Earth. What is it that you have to help you do that? Another knight, interestingly enough. The Knight of Wands, Bellerophon on Perseus there. So what you have is the Sagittarius energy, right? You've got the desire, you've got the fire, you're willing to move forward, you're willing to move forward on impulse. So 2 nights in a row, that's a lot of mutability. What's interesting as a Gemini, you've got the Pisces and the Sagittarius cards there. Now, if you'll bear with me, the camera's doing funky stuff again. I will fix this and be right back. Okay, I think I fixed it. Let's see, right? So left off on that card that you've got a lot of mutability here. So that makes sense for a Gemini in the sense that it's like, well, I want to. So there's a lot of impulsiveness here is what you have, but what you want, I get it, is to sort of slow your roll a little bit, to go more intuitively here, to kind of deal with the emotional side of it. Rather than just the pure full-on fire passion charge, which the Gemini card is that first card at a gallop. So we've got a canter and a walk. Yes, I took horseback riding lessons as a kid. Very funny story about that. I'll tell you sometime over coffee. Let's get your next card down. You've got your fire, what you want, your earth, what you have. Let's look at your air, what you think. Now, considering if you are the Gemini here, this should be interesting. Well, the 6 of Pentacles, that what you're thinking about here is really about that fair distribution. Now, what's interesting for the eternal child dealing with the judge is supposed to be all about that fair distribution, right? A balanced, harmonious giving and receiving. Now, usually in this card, when we see it in the Rider-Waite, there's more than one person involved here. But here we've got King Midas, right? The touch, the Midas touch here. Really, somebody wanting so much, please give. But there is some deliberation here that's trying to make sure that it is given in balance. So that would make sense that you want to move forward in terms of physical form and balance here. That's what's on your mind. Well, particularly with what I'm feeling over here, this does make sense. Particularly if you are in a relationship with somebody else, that jealousy card really makes sense. It's like you are really, it's like, well, is this fair? How do I do this in a balanced way? Because you really want to move forward You want to make the romantic gesture, the romantic offer more than just a page. You want to really give the Knight. But with that Knight of Wands, there's a lot of passion there behind it. This feels decidedly sexually romantic the more I touch these cards. So how do you feel, Divine Masculine? How does the Divine Masculine feel? Because remember, either one of you could be watching this. Interesting. You've got a bit of a revenge vibe here. So what I'm thinking here is that not necessarily you want revenge against the Divine Feminine, although I'm not seeing that here, but that the feeling of revenge here, considering that they've got the feeling of jealousy here, this is in the mind, however, this is in your emotional field, that there's almost like a, I'll show them. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a form of revenge. I'll show them, right? You're going to do that? I'll show them. And perhaps this twin flame Divine Feminine, I don't know that that's the person you're saying, well, I'll show her. It's I'll show them. Make sure that your motivations are clear on this one, that there is an honorability, that you're coming not from a place of childish, but childlike. Have a look at that. Because the other thing that we can do in terms of revenge are the things that we do to ourselves to show other people how they've done us wrong. It's a different take on revenge, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, you're going to do that? Well, now watch what I do to myself, right? It's very childish. It's like throwing a tantrum. Now, I'm not saying you're doing that, but that card of revenge, and damn it, you know what? I did it again. I did this in the last reading. I pulled one from the Masters deck. We're going to put that to the side. What's the tarot here? Six of Cups. Six of Pentacles, Six of Cups. I really need to move that deck somewhere else. I did that for the Taurus reading as well. I just pulled the wrong top card from the deck. But there are no mistakes in tarot, that there is an element of revenge going on here somehow, but that you are trying to balance that. The Six of Pentacles in what you're thinking, the Six of Cups in what you are feeling. So far, I'm not seeing any real mirroring cards from Divine Masculine and to Divine Feminine, or vice versa here. Yeah, no, we have no zodiacal cards in tandem. We've got a 6 that goes to a 7 over here. So, you know, let's see what this last card of Spirit is about. Because emotionally, you might be feeling very, very much for this person. Why do I get the feeling that some of you in the collective, this isn't for everybody, and I know that's annoying to hear in a reading, this isn't for everybody, this is for some of you, but it is, that there was a breakup here, and hence that revenge, and you're like, well, but it was out of balance, but I miss them, where they're like, were you deceiving me? How the hell, right, that jealousy, when the fuck is it my turn? When maybe the Divine Feminine gave a lot and it wasn't in balance, and the Divine Masculine is aware of it, and that eternal child feels a little abandoned because perhaps the Divine Feminine said enough because of her values. And this was absolutely scripted. Look, you both need to let each other off the hook. This was written into this relationship before you incarnated. In fact, of course you wouldn't remember that. We agree to all sorts of things, not to mention birth location, family, gender identity, gender preference, all that stuff, once you agree, is baked in, right? That you were chosen to play the role, but you chose, right? It's mutual that way. They didn't drag us down here. We wanted to take these lives, take these bodies, and these twin flame relationships are essential to help us learn how to love ourselves. And it feels like in this case, the Divine Feminine, what you're learning is about your honor. What you're learning is about your value, how to value yourself, how to keep your values solid and stable. We still have one more tarot card here, but this really feels like, with the eternal child here, that learning how to take care of oneself, how to take care of oneself, maybe, yes, physically. We got this, well, how do I balance my account? How do I balance my bills? But with a real sense of the emotional balance from nostalgia, looking back and seeing, well, you know, it really was good on balance, right? But twin flame relationships, turbulent and transformative. So let's get that last major arcana. Sorry, it is a major arcana card, the Devil. All right. So the overview here is, yes, this is about fear and bondage and chains of illusion codependency, toxicity. I don't know about abuse or neglect. There are certain cards that will scream that at me. This is not one of them. And this is not the traditional devil either. This is Pan, right? Technically son of Hermes. If you go by the newer, well, the old mythology, Pan is the god of nature, the masculine face of nature, the divine masculine. So it doesn't surprise me that we've got a divine masculine card here, but we're definitely seeing somebody else sort of playing the tune here and making the little satyrs dance. So there is some manipulation, there is some deception, there is something not quite up to snuff going on here for the divine masculine. And if you are the divine masculine watching this, you need to check yourself a little bit. Now, again, with this card of revenge, that might be what this revenge energy is all about. That on either side of this revenge card really does speak of damage done, the deadly sin of wrath taken out of proportion and into action. So please be careful about vengeance. Vengeance is mine, saith the gods. And boy, they're good at it, but only to teach us. You know, I'm tired of people calling karma a bitch. Karma is not a bitch. It is a learning system. Talk about balancing of the scales. All right. What we're going to look at now is the center lane here. We're going to look at the relationship of this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in terms of the Knight archetype. And for that, we're going to pull one angel card, one each of the tarot, and one of the Chuck Spezzano love pack. So, my angels, please, one card in clarity, an overview, an overlight, a card of clarity for this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in this twin flame relationship. For August 2019 and beyond, please, a card of your angelic guidance and grace for this twin flame relationship. Celebration. Now that seems odd. Not that every card here is a shit show, mind you. This is workable. There is definitely something in play here that is being transformed within each of you individually. But that there will be a cause of celebration. This will work out well, even if you part ways as friends, even as if you choose to stay together forever, and you're just going to like go to your own corners and do your own healing and love yourselves. And because though I'm feeling something romantic here, it's tricky. It's another T for twin flame. They're tricky, but there's something here that if there can be engendered a love of honor, right? Without the romantic delusions. You both need to look at what your romantic delusions are. Love will conquer all. Well, yes, not in and of itself, though. You both have to embody that true love. Can you celebrate what is working in the relationship? Because that will certainly bring you more of that full moon, full circle. Now this is to be celebrated. Let's ask Daughters of the Moon Tarot, my gods. One card in clarity for this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019, please. One card in clarity. Well, the Ten of Cups, a wonderful, joyful, cup overflowing kind of deal. Now, that's not speaking just to the Divine Feminine, even though it's the same deck. I'm getting two tarot cards of clarity here. So, Ten of Cups, my gods, please. This Mythic Tarot, one card in clarity for this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. Just one card. We've got the Knight archetype with celebration and the Ten of Cups. What's going on here? Queen of Wands, the Leo card. The Leo card in terms of radiance, in terms of creativity and good fortune. I get why the two of you are attracted to each other. It is very emotional, perhaps dramatic, ecstatic. This is Inanna's House of Heaven, the card of ecstasy, with the Queen of Wands, that this is an incredibly pleasurable relationship. But the thing about pleasure is that it's one side of the coin, the other is pain. There is also obviously something painful going on here, particularly with this revenge card and the devil, and particularly with this card of deception, the card of jealousy, and the Five of the volcano, right? Pele, the volcano, the Five of Flames. This is tricky because it seems counterintuitive to me, not to mention doesn't make sense intellectually, that the divine masculine, this eternal child, not sure how to approach, wanting to approach, perhaps wanting it to come back, and yet that card of the devil, some sort of bondage there, psychological, spiritual, financial bondage there with that revenge. It almost, and this is for a small part of the collective, they're saying, the divine masculine, this relationship, there's a motivation there that you're using this person to have revenge on somebody else. A little childish. But remember, we are all childish until we really begin to grow up. And what does that mean to grow up? To take responsibility, right? Child archetype, big lesson is responsibility. To make ourselves feel safe and secure emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. So that we can approach things with new eyes and see clearly. Now, what's so interesting, the eternal child in its light sees things with clear eyes, fresh perspective. And we've got the divine feminine here. What she wants with that card of deception is perhaps to see clearly, to see what the hell is going on here. All right, now let's ask the masters. This should be fun. My masters, please, one card in clarity for this Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. What's going on here? What's going on in terms of this Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship? There you are, for October 2019 and beyond. And there's something beautiful here. Look, what the two of you have here is something beautiful if it can be alchemized honorably. Now, what concerns me about this is the pleasurable, romantic, passionate, beautiful side of this. That perhaps that's what that's the blindfold here, but they're so beautiful and it's so passionate. But there's something here that really needs to be addressed. When you have jealousy, jealousy in the mental space, right? We've got the overview of the volcano, and then here we've got the devil with revenge crossing it, a card that I did not intend to pull out, but the masters made sure I pulled that one out on top of it. Yet wanting to move forward, this is tricky. There's some well, every relationship has its illusions, but I'm going to say be very, very aware that the work that needs to be done here is within the self. And we're going to pull 3 more cards here. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 3 more cards, 18, 19, 20, though will be 21 because of that revenge card that came up. And this is from the higher selves of all involved, and I find these to be extremely helpful. So higher selves of all involved, please, one card for the divine feminine in this Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame relationship for October 2019 and beyond. A whisper of love, please, for the divine feminine. Love makes the difference. Love can help heal past hurts and provide a sense of security, self-worth, and importance, which really says in terms of this Taurian life value card here that love makes a difference. That's what's going to restore the balance. That there may very well be, who doesn't have emotional baggage, past heartbreaks, past jealousies that are resurfacing here. Although what the two of you have here is something to be celebrated, at least for the now. That Leonine energy is just shining out on me, something so solar, something so warm, so beautiful, with that Inanna's house of heaven, the ecstasy here, that love makes a difference. But my darling divine feminine, if you're the one watching this, you must love that voice of jealousy, not to act on it. As I said before, it's not about acting on it, but it's about, no, love makes a difference. And if I've loved before and I was betrayed, if I loved before or if I am so envious of others who have been in love that now I'm just going to walk blindly into that, that's okay too. But let me be fair to myself. Let me make sure that there is an equal distribution of power, that my masculine, your own masculine energy, your own intellect, your own divine mind is in balance with the divine heart, the divine love. So truth, love, honor, making honorable choices here, and not keeping your fingers on the scale, not deliberately deluding yourself, because romantic delusion, if this is something new, enjoy it. I'm not going to say enjoy it while you can. Like I've said before, like there are plenty of twin flames that are married. I don't know how happily married they are, but if they can use the relationship, use the contract as intended, a lot of healing can happen individually. Yeah, tricky shit, man, no question. So for the divine masculine here, please, the higher selves of all involved, please, one card. For the Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, the divine masculine in this twin flame relationship, October 2019 and beyond. Focus on love, right? So love makes a difference, and focus on love. Look for the good attributes in each and every person in your life. So that's how you move forward and heal the divine masculine. If you're the one watching this, is to really focus on, well, you know, that, yes, and that makes sense with the Six of Cups, really kind of looking back nostalgically, finding that sweet spot, either in the past in your own relationships or in this one. But that revenge card, it's like, I know it sort of sticks out over there. You'll see when I post the picture at the end, but it's something saying there, just be very, very careful of that. That don't hurt yourself to get somebody back, for example. That's what I meant before about, you know, how revenge can be. Oh, you're going to do that to me? Watch what I do to myself. So be very, very careful of self-sabotage in that way. But I understand why the desire to not, like, gallop back in, or I should say canter back in with this Knight of Wands, to instead want to come in as the Knight of Cups at a walk, right? So instead of being the runaway or the chaser, you walk. It's the third archetype that balances the two. All right, last card down, please. Higher selves of all involved, please. One card for this Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, twin flame relationship for October 2019, please. One card of clarity, a whisper of love. Spend some quality time together. I love this deck. It is imperative that we spend quality time with those we are in significant relationship with, listening and talking to each other. So in the collective, sure, for some of you this is brand new. Spend some quality time together, talking and listening. But that is certainly necessary in ongoing long-term relationships as well. Now, is this inherently romantic sexual? Only a couple of cards say that. I could see this playing out in a family dynamic as well, where there needs to be a heart-to-heart talk here, but to spend quality time together. And look, as much as I love watching TV, right, with people, I mean, I don't watch that much when I'm alone. I mean, I do have Netflix. I do like to binge every now and again. But when company comes over, I don't mind having something on in the background, but we talk, right? It's a quality time together. Staring at a screen isn't necessarily quality time unless you're both movie buffs, or you love the show and you discuss it afterwards. But this is, you guys, I would say that to make this twin flame relationship serve its true purpose, there needs to be some time spent together. The divine masculine focusing on love, the divine feminine in terms of love making the difference here, in terms of sharing her values, in terms of the reflections that you have here in the Six of Cups, about copping to the fact that, yes, I feel like I am in chains, right, with that Devil card, with perhaps, I've got some codependent patterning, I've been overly dependent on people, my life, and I'm working on that. Then it's not so much that you help each other heal, but that then you can appreciate what is beautiful and passionate. And really, with this Queen of Wands staring at me, so powerful. Something to be celebrated here, but must be honorable in order to work here, spending some quality time together. So just to sum it all up, we've got the divine feminine judge here, wanting this deception to either continue or end. My sense is now looking at this, wanting to see what the hell is really going on here. Because what she has are those lifelong values, that Taurus bedrock thing. Perhaps honesty, perhaps that wants to be loving, wants to be unconditionally loving. But unconditional love does not mean you put up with unconditional bad behavior. No. toxic behavior. Thinking, however, that Seven of Cups, you know, we see it as castles in the skies and we have options. But in this card with that jealousy, with that emotional upset, almost you could say the apathy of options in one sense, because she doesn't know what her options are, hence getting that card of deception. They're not really sure what's going on, and some turbulent emotions coming up there that feels very twin flamey, but is really seeing it as the Spider Woman, the Wheel of Fortune, that this is a matter of time, that if this is a fate thing, let me deal with my fate and achieve destiny here. With that overview of the volcano, that something's ready to blow. What has been concealed, the power of fire will bring it to the surface, almost as if by her own will. But that love makes the difference, right? And if you're the Divine Feminine, I'm going to highly recommend that you really love all of these different voices inside of you. But again, don't let them drive. Don't let them keep cars. Don't let them text message. Do not post them on social media. I don't tell people what to do, but I'm telling you, with the volatility there of just the Seven of Cups, with the Seven of Cups jealousy, with the Five of Flames volcano, that there's a possibility for a real blow up here, which, not that blow ups don't need to happen. Sometimes they certainly do, to clear the air, but that love makes a difference, to make sure that you get that not all of this is about this divine masculine. Some of it was in play in your history, that, yeah, your values have been challenged before here. Here's an opportunity for you to really nail this, or at least heal this within yourself a bit. Divine masculine, you know, that Knight of Cups, wanting to move forward at a walk, wanting to make the romantic gesture, but what they have is all this passion and fire. There is something very sexual about that, wanting to sort of rise above all of this sexuality and attraction, but tricky, right? How do you turn fire into water? Really hard to do. But with that element of air, Gemini, if you are the Gemini in the collective here, it would make sense that the Six of Pentacles there is about, well, how do I balance this out? That Six of Pentacles. How do I do this fairly? How do I do this honorably, so that it's not all give and it's not all take on either side? And in your emotions, you do, like when you're not with this person, it's the Six of Cups. There's a wistful vibe coming off this card. Yes, nostalgia, remembering how it used to be, but changes had to happen. Things had to transform along the way. And part of what's being really looked at here for you, Divine Masculine, is that card of the Devil. What are the chains that bind you? What are the beliefs? Now, not that knowing what they are instantly break them, but focus on love. That's what breaks them. And because of that the eternal child there, with that card of revenge, it's okay to want to be vengeful. Let those feelings be felt. You listen to those voices. You say, hello, hello, vengeful child. I love you. What can I do? Why don't you sit down? No, we're not going to do that, because that's illegal. But I love you, and it's okay to feel this way, and I will love you. And if you feel this for the rest of your life, I will feel that for you through vengeance. But really, we're going to get through this, and I'm here. That's how you focus on love within yourself, and also to look for the good attributes in each and every person in your life is written on that card there. That will help dissolve, hopefully, some of that revenge. To remember that everybody was a child, and everybody's doing the best that they can with what they know, what they've experienced, what they've learned along the way. Because the overall twin flame relationship here, there is an opportunity for alchemy into honorable romantic experience here, which is maybe saying, let's see where this goes. Let's take it one step at a time. Let's be honorable about this, but let us have no delusions about it either, right? Now, it's so funny. We've got the card of deception down here, and in the archetype card, it says romantic delusion. So yes, this may be fantastic, but that means that there involves an element of fantasy here. It may be terrific. That can mean that there's an aspect of terror in here as well. You know, the terror of, well, what happens if it's not what we think it is? But right now, I would certainly say celebrate what's going on here. You've got that Ten of Cups, that ecstasy, the physical, emotional, I have to say sexual, sensual. This does not feel like a platonic or familial anything. This feels like a passionate, beautiful romance. Both of you are beautiful together, or, you know, you're beautiful individually, to put the two of you together with that radiant Queen of Wands, leonine, solar, feminine well, fixed fire, the Queen, just so warm, but can also be a little egotistical, that everything else revolves around the sun. Well, in this case, revolves around Leo, the Leo energy. So what's the whisper of love here? Spend some quality time together. It's imperative that you spend quality time with each other, not just talking, but listening. So there is your twin flame reading for October 2019 and beyond. My Gemini buddies, I wish you the very best and the very blessed for this month and beyond, that you bring this into balance, that you find that you can give yourself what you need here and learn what needs to be learned, heal what needs to be healed, and grow what needs to be grown to fulfill this contract for the well-being of all. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed, but for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.